Well, good afternoon, and thanks for tuning in once again to All Access Pass. I'm your cruise host, Jason, with a little bit more voice, not a lot more, but just enough, thank goodness, to interview someone that I absolutely love and adore, and I think I speak for a lot of people. We know him very specifically from his role on TV as a member of the absolutely beloved Brady Bunch, where he was Mr. Greg Brady. Do me a favor, huge round of applause. Please welcome my guest today, Mr. Barry Williams. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon indeed, and thank you for such a nice, warm welcome.
I know, it was totally unrehearsed, too. It was perfect. How are you today, sir? How are you?
Never better. How can we go wrong on this
Amen.
beautiful ship, this beautiful cruise? And I've never been on a themed cruise before.
Pretty
This
cool,
is the
huh?
first time. And it's so great to have all this common love for this great music that we're celebrating.
Well, you actually just nailed it on the head. The best part of themed cruising is that you have 2,000 guests with a singular focus. You know, and everybody wants to go to the same thing. And as my grandfather used to say,
Right.
everybody wants to ride the horse the direction it's heading. It's simple, but it's deep if you think about it for a moment.
I was wondering if that was the same horse with no name.
Yes, it is. It's an unnamed horse. Well done. Some of them, some of them don't see America till tonight, so they're a little bit bitter about that right now. So yeah. They're excited for that one. Now, you've never been on a theme cruise. What was it when you got the call and they said, Mr. Williams, we'd love to have you on our 70s rock and romance cruise? What was your first thought?
Done. When I saw the list of talent,
Sure.
the list of acts, I mean, these are the people that I grew up with. These are people I learned how to sing with, and so
Very cool.
it was just such a treat. And you know, they were all untouchable in the '70s. I mean, you couldn't get close to these guys, and now we're cruising, we're hanging out
Now
with
we're here.
everybody. Yeah.
They were by the pool today, a bunch of the different bands. And I
Yeah.
think my favorite part is that everybody loves the bands, right? Everybody loves the musicians and the rock stars. But then when they're out and they're just their civvies and they're partying, nobody knows who they are. America was by the pool today jamming. Half of you didn't know. You were jamming along right next to them. Ambrosia was rocking and rolling on the pool deck today. And most of you noticed that because those guys are crazy. It's fun because you literally get to be around everybody all the time.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like you said, you don't get to necessarily get to them in real life. Well, let's get to you, sir. Less about the cruise and more about you. We didn't want to give you much cord. We didn't know where you'd go with it. We didn't want to let you get very
I
far.
can move around.
Yeah. To you. Let's focus on the reason we're here. You grew up on television in a lot of ways. Tell us, how did you know you wanted to be an actor? When did it start?
The whole story, the whole
Sure, give me
everything,
whatever
the
you
whole-
like.
3 years old, nursery school, going to school with a young lady by the name of Claudia Graves. Dad, Peter Graves. The television show, Fury. Saturdays. And I thought, that looks good to me. I want to be an orphan, and I want to live on a ranch and ride a horse that
With
hates
no
everybody
name.
else. And so I thought about it. I studied. I got an agent and started going out on calls and going out to the various studios. Grew up in Los Angeles, and to Universal and to Warner Brothers and all of the Paramount. And I started working. I was on shows like Run for Your Life and Dragnet, the FBI, the Invaders,
Squad.
the Mod Squad,
Mission
and then-
Impossible.
and coup de grace, Mission Impossible, starring Peter Graves by that time. And so I had worked around Paramount for quite a while, and the network knew me, and so this show called The Brady Bunch, Bradley Brood at the time, came along, and I was being considered. And the bottom line, after all that experience, after all those connections, I think I got the role because I fit the suit. I look like Robert Reed and the other guys,
Sure.
and so I fit, and I was the right age.
Well, that's perfect. Sometimes that's all you need. And that actually leads me into a more somber note. We have a mutual friend who is much closer to you than she ever was to me. I got to know her very well through the Dancing with the Stars, where I worked for 3 years. Florence, Miss Florence Henderson, obviously we lost her very recently, and I think I speak on behalf of everyone when I say not only was she fantastic, and we should celebrate her life, but I have no doubt she spoke of you very fondly, and I'm sure that you two are very close, and I just want to apologize for the loss, and I send my condolences to you.
Well, thank you. She was an amazing woman, great vitality. You know, she was not only the mom to the bunch, the kids. she has 4 children of her own, so she was balancing quite a bit and moved. She relocated from New York to Los Angeles to film our series, so she had to relocate to kids as well. And as such, and so we, Brady, me and my Brady mates, we were friends of her children as well. But it was an enormous responsibility. Plus, she was doing our show, and she was a live performer. She had a cabaret singer. So she balanced a lot of balls. But most importantly, she loved her fans. Yeah. And I learned so much about that from her. She was always considerate, always took her time, never said no to anybody. People would drop in and she would treat them like, interrupt her dinner and treat them like they were best friends. So I always admired the grace with which she held herself in public.
That's a great term for her. You know, we had her on Dancing with the Stars, and then she did the traveling version of the show, which is where I hosted and produced. And I've never met anyone who, you hit the nail on the head. She would go out before every show. She would go out after every show and sign autographs and take pictures and do all that until there was nobody left. She would do it until no one was left. She would do every single person. She'd take care of everyone. And I admired that so much.
She was a very, very hard, committed, dedicated, and ambitious worker.
Feisty.
Her entire career, and a little bawdy at times. She would do anything to make people laugh, and shocking them was one of her favorite things.
She did.
She told me that Dancing with the Stars was the most challenging, difficult job she'd ever had. That's something.
I can believe it.
Yep.
I can believe
those people, especially the amateurs, are dancing in pain. Yeah.
She would talk about it all the time, and she would discuss that and say that she lost weight, her feet were torn up, and she battled through it. But she always smiled. She was always gracious, and she was always just lovely. And I think you want to share something for us with today.
I do. One of the things, the two biggest questions I get is, did we really get along when we were filming the show, all of us? Because we met each other for the first time when we started filming our show, the Brady Show. Yep. And do we get along? And the answer to both of them is yes. So, like back in the day, we would celebrate birthdays together, holidays, we'd have sleepovers, what have you, and I'm waiting for somebody to be smart.
No, nobody will do it. Not here. We're paying respect.
Yeah,
no one's going to do it.
Okay. Well, I gave up the sleepovers with Marcia when she got married. So, and you're gonna, before this is over, you're gonna need a drummer. Okay. So, we would exchange gifts at Christmas time, back and forth. And one Christmas, Robert Reed, Dad Brady, gave us each Super 8 movie cameras, and it was the latest and greatest in portable cameras. So I wanted to make a movie about us. So I filmed reels and reels of this film of the kids, my friends and I, just hanging out on the set, not in professional circumstances, not in front of the camera, just being ourselves. When we would travel, we went to Hawaii, we went to London together, and I had all this footage. So what I did was I pared it all down and cut it into just a couple of minutes, and I recorded a song called "These Are the Days of Our Lives," and I edited it and put it together with the music, and I brought it.
And I think we can show it, matter of fact. Ty, go ahead.
I call it Home Movies.
If you can't see, you can move around. Feel free, Will.
This is without track. I'm going to sing it. When we were young, when we were kids, things seemed so perfect. You know, the days were endless, we were crazy, we were young. Sun was always shining, we just lived for fun. Sometimes it seems like lately, I just don't know. The rest of my life has been just a show. Those were the days of our lives. The bad things in life were so few. Those days are all gone now, but one thing is true. When I look and I find I still love you, You can't turn back the clock, you can't turn back the tide. Ain't that a shame? I'd like to go back one time on a roller coaster ride when life was just a game. No use in sitting and thinking on what you did. You can lay back and enjoy it through your kids. Sometimes it seems like lately I just don't know. Better sit back and go with the flow. 'Cause these are the days of our lives. They've flown in the swiftness of time. These days are all gone now, but some things remain. When I look and I find no change. California surfing, Hawaii. Malibu Beach. London. Those were the days of our lives. The bad things in life were so few. Those days are all gone now, but one thing's still true. When I look and I find I still love you. I still love you.
Very cool. Hold your thoughts. I want to get your sentiments on that in just a moment. Do not turn the channel. Do not go away. More with Mr. Barry Williams in just a moment. Hey, welcome back to All Access Pass. Here we are with the fabulous Mr. Barry Williams. Now, before we went to break, not only did we see a beautiful piece of home movie photography that you did, or videography that you did, but you also sang along live, which I think makes this a very cool moment. Seeing that movie and seeing yourself as a kid and seeing all of your Brady mates as kids, what kind of memories does it bring back? What's your thought process as you see that?
For me, it's a little like watching the show when it comes up. When I see an episode come by, I call it home movies, because that is where I grew up. And these people, these characters, my Brady mates, were my friends. We're the people we knew, the people that we trusted, and the people that were going through this adventure in life of coming from our neighborhoods and coming into the national spotlight and being recognized nationwide and ultimately globally. And so we relied on each other to kind of keep each other in check and keep the egos evened out. And then we had Mom and Dad Brady, which were very helpful too.
Keep your egos in check, I'm sure.
Yes.
Keep the kids in line.
Right.
So I know the Bradys it's a huge part of your legacy, but if we can move beyond just a little bit, you've done a lot since.
It's opened a lot of gates. There's no question about it.
You've had a pretty great career.
I feel very privileged, thank you. Yes, I have immediately after the show was over. I knew I wanted to have music in the career, so I went to Broadway. I auditioned for Bob Fosse and won the role of Pippin in Pippin, and toured that all over the country, ultimately on Broadway. And that started me off on an adult career of some 85 different productions of musicals. I was fortunate to have a successful book with Growing Up Brady, which I ended up executive.
New York Times bestseller, matter of fact.
Bestseller, and I produced that into a 2-hour television movie for NBC.
Adrian Brody, right?
What's
Didn't
that?
Brody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And This happened, it was released in 2001, and after 9/11, they took all the regular programming off all the networks, and NBC brought Growing Up Brady back as the first non-9/11 news-oriented program after that period, after about a 2.5-week period, and they felt that would be more comforting for the country, and it worked. Yeah. But I've been very, very grateful to also recording albums, and I just finished a 6-year run in Branson, Missouri, which is in the heart of the Ozarks.
How many of you saw him in Branson? Anybody here? Yeah, a handful of you got to see him.
I did a show called, appropriately enough, 70s Music Celebration. And it was a variety show. I had 6 characters and a live band, and we rocked it out. In fact, I opened my show with the Orleans's "Still the One." Yeah.
You were Show of the Year multiple times right now.
Twice.
Twice, yeah, Show of the Year. Now, if you haven't been to Branson, Branson's wonderful, and it's actually a great spot for entertainment. It really is, especially if you go east of Vegas.
It's a resort area. Again, it's right in the middle of the Ozark Mountains, in the middle of the country. 100 different shows there, but there are shows, there are attractions, there are amusement parks, there are great fishing lakes, the Taneycomo and Table Rock Lake, where I live, hiking, hunting, riding, all that, and a great quality of life of very, very nice people.
And where are you now? What's next for you?
What is the next thing?
After dinner, that is. Yeah.
Well, just before dinner, I'm hopeful I'm going to meet all of you. We're going to take some pictures and sign some albums. No more bottoms, please.
No more bottoms. Sir.
I'm going to be the face of MTV
wow.
this summer. Yeah.
What does that mean? Tell us what that means.
Did I say MTV? I meant MeTV. We're all a little bit old for MTV, but me especially. MeTV. MeTV runs the Brady Bunch on weekends and throughout the week. So I'm going to do their commercials and represent them and do some public appearances and also national radio satellite tours. And I'm looking forward to that. All the little ads, ins and outs. I'll be talking about favorite episodes and things like that.
Okay, so next you have MeTV where you're the face. And when does that start? When can we hope to see you on?
April,
Soon.
May, June, July, August, September. It's the summer of me.
So
not as in not as in Barry.
We all know what you mean. We all know what you mean. Well, you mentioned that you'd be discussing things like the Brady Bunch, and you said like favorite episodes and things like that. Would you be so kind as to share? Do you have a favorite episode?
Sure, I do. I loved Adios, Johnny Bravo. Now, Adios, Johnny Bravo was Greg Brady wanted to, one of the Brady kids wanted to become singers, and so they won a contract. Except the record company only wanted to give the contract to Greg, and they didn't want to give it to Greg because he had talent or he could sing or it was because he fit the suit.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yes, and so Greg, being the reliable big brother that he is, decided to ditch the costume and the contract and. Mistakenly went back with the Brady Bunch kids, and we recorded 3 albums together.
When you think back, is there anything?
I think it's time for a walk outside now. The summer sun's calling my name. I hear you now. I just can't stay inside all day. I gotta get out, give me some of those rays. Everybody's smiling. It's no fun without the choreography, though. Everybody's laughing. The sunshine day. Everybody seems so happy today.
You've been practicing.
This is why people still call us kids.
Listen, when I get back, I'm calling Dancing with the Stars back, and I'm going to tell them you're ready to go.
All right.
Would you do it if Dancing with the Stars called?
Immediately.
That's very cool.
Yeah. We should start a little petition. When you go online with your stuff, say, Barry Williams does Dancing with the Stars.
Well, we have a ton of questions here for you, sir. We like to break down the fourth wall, so to speak. Forgive me as my voice goes a touch here. We like to break down the fourth wall, and we like to ask questions from the audience. Looking back over, this is Shannon from El Paso, Texas. She says, looking back over your life, how did being a part of the Brady Bunch positively impact you?
In so many ways. I've been again, it opened up many gates for my career. But mostly, I think the thing I'm the most grateful for, it's opened me up to people. I meet people that I never would have had an opportunity to meet, and generally people treat me like their friend. You know, like, because I've been in the living room all that time with them while they've been watching shows.
Sure.
So people will pick up mid-sentence with me, like, so, how do you like living in Branson? You know, it's, you know, and
Haven't seen you in a couple of years. How you been?
Yeah. It makes it much easier to meet and be with people, and wonderful opportunities come along like this, where I'm making new friends and meeting new people, but also experiencing the world, going over to Mexico, and if you haven't been to Key West, that place is fantastic as well, and in a wonderful circumstance like this. So,
and out of the bands we have on board, who are you most looking forward to when you saw
That's
the
a tough
list?
one. That's a tough one.
On the spot.
Yeah. I'll tell you.
You can say all of them. It's okay.
There's not a one of them that I haven't learned their lyrics and sung their songs and that kind of thing. Criss Cross comes to mind. Chuck Negron as both a friend and like a monster, vocalist. Peter Frampton is playing us off tomorrow night. There's some really, really people that have been very, very important. And as a qualifier, I've got to say, it's about the music itself, because this is a time when we had melodies and we had lyrics with meanings. And
Whatever do you mean, sir?
Yes. And these are songs that we can sing along with, and that's why I think they're etched, and I think this is why they've stood the test of time, and I think that's a big, big part of what's brought us all together.
That is the perfect answer to take us to our last break. Don't go anywhere. Back with more Mr. Barry Williams in just a moment. Hey, welcome back. You didn't miss anything in the break. Thanks for tuning back, and here we are with Barry Williams. Now, I don't know if this gentleman just misunderstood the writing at the top of the page or was just being cute, but name Barry, from Barry, for Barry. I have no idea. What high school did you go to, sir? That's the question.
On the show?
Well, in life.
In real life, I grew up in the Pacific Palisades, and my high school was Palisades High.
Palisades High.
Palisades High. Some of the time.
What year?
I was the year of 72, but most of my high schooling was done on the set. I had two people in my class, Marcia and me.
Yeah. Pat from Columbia says, I saw you with a USC shirt on yesterday. Is that the real USC ... University of South Carolina? It's not my question, Barry. You can throw this one wherever you want.
Well, first of all, I don't have a USC shirt. Secondly, who thinks it's the University of Southern Carolina? By the way, my father was captain of the swim team for University of Southern California, and my brother graduated with a bachelor's degree from Southern California.
So you have some Southern Californian ties, is what you're saying.
Especially with the U part.
This is an interesting one. Rob, all the way from Ohio, says, what was Sam the Meat Man like on the set?
Sam the who? Sam the...
Butcher. He wrote Meat Man. I didn't misquote that.
Ton of fun. It's just as sweet as you would imagine. Funny, great character actor. If you trace Alan Melvin's career back and post Brady, you'll see that he was a very, very well respected, very well liked, had a great career, and we loved having him on the show.
Good answer.
Just don't get locked up in his meat freezer without Bobby.
Roscoe from Indianapolis. Roscoe's asked a few questions. I like Roscoe. He says, of all the Brady Bunch episodes, you already answered your favorite. Did you have a tough time? Were there any least favorite episodes?
Yes. There's one that I felt completely unbelievable. Some of you might remember that at one point, Marcia and Greg had a drive-off contest. Who could get closest to the egg without knocking it over? Marcia won, and it's total crap. To this day, is a terrible driver.
You
I
harbor,
have raced cars.
you harbor no
Raced
ill
cars.
will. Mikey from Maryland has an interesting question here. Mikey says, were the upstairs bedrooms of the Brady house connected like we saw them on TV?
Well, the boys had an underground tunnel to the girls' room.
Yeah.
Yes, they were connected, but they were all on the same level, and that was all. In fact, the whole set was built on one level. The stairs went up to nothing, and then the bedroom and the hallway. Those were practical. They were built exactly to scale and what you saw. Yeah.
Got it. And did that include the mystery room at the top of the stairs? By the way,
I thought I could answer all the questions. The mystery room.
By the way, I'm the Brady Frequently Asked Questions author.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, the mystery room was, it always changed, I guess. At one point, it was the attic that was 2 inches tall. The next season, it was my getaway bedroom. And there was a mystery room at the bottom of the stairs behind where Alice was. And I just can never get my arms around how an architect could build a house for 6 kids with 2 bathrooms.
It was the
Or
70s.
one bathroom.
It was the 70s, you know. Bruce from Florida says, were you friends, and are you still friends with Danny Bonaducci?
Yes, yes, and yes, except for that one time when he knocked me down in the boxing ring.
Yeah.
We are friends. He's crazy, for sure, but a lot of fun, and he's very talented. He's a very funny guy. We did a movie together for Sci-Fi called Bigfoot. Anybody? And I said I would do this movie, really corny movie, as you can imagine, Bigfoot. But I said I would do this movie if I could beat up Danny Bonaducci. I broke a guitar over his back, and I gave him a 1, 2, 3, 4. He's a good sport, too.
All the more reason to say yes to that one.
Yeah.
Hillary from Maryland says, Barry, do you remember facilitating a proposal at the Brady Bunch convention in 2014?
I do.
It wasn't mine, she says, but Michelle, the woman who was on the receiving end of that ring, is a friend of hers and wants to send you love and hello.
Oh, well, thank you very much. So
It's a cute
I was doing
story.
a little seminar, kind of like this, except not unprompted. I was a kind of one-man thing and teaching and we had a couple that wanted to come up and get engaged, and so we did that on stage, and I'm glad that it's working out well.
Amen. She didn't say they were still married. She just said... She just said love you and hello. She's gunning for you now,
Some
man.
of you may know I'm going to be doing some wedding vow renewals.
Yeah,
here.
on board.
Cool.
Holly from Vermont says, do you ever feel like you missed out, quote unquote, as a teenager growing up in front of the camera?
No doubt about it. In fact, people that are in similar circumstances to me that say that that they've had a normal upbringing, it's not true. It's not normal. And I wasn't around kids my age. I didn't know how to relate to kids my age. I was in an adult world. I was not in my normal school and going to a studio school. I was in a professional environment all of my teen years, and I don't feel that it was a sacrifice, but it wasn't. I missed out on the high school sports and learning to date for the first time, the football games and all of that. Prom.
You never got to go to prom?
Well, I did eventually about 5 times. That just wasn't mine. I just dated a girl a year younger each year.
Good move. Yeah. Hopefully that ended a little while ago.
6 months.
Yeah. Prom was great, though.
Although June is coming up.
It's true. Keep the calendar open. You've now got Me TV, so you got a platform.
Right.
Cindy from Casper, Wyoming. Interestingly enough, Cindy backs up what I said a moment ago. She said, would you do Dancing with the Stars if asked? We already answered that. She said, we've seen your show in Branson, and you would be great.
Nice. Well, I did a lot of dancing there, that's for sure.
You should do it.
Show, yeah.
How complicated, this is Fran from SC Film Production. Fran's got a little bit different style of handwriting here, but I'll do my best. How complicated was it to mix the show with the popularity of the singing aspect of the show? As in, when you were I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of this. Fran, where are you? What the hell does that mean?
How complicated? Because you had a singing group,
Yep.
and then you were on, then you had the show. So how did you mix the two things?
Oh, I see. Now I think I understand. It's mostly a scheduling issue. The Brady Kids actually became a legitimate touring act. We did fair dates. We played in Las Vegas, some television shows, Atlantic City, and we would do that always during the hiatus or the break. So between like February, March, and April, and then May, and then the show would film from June through about November, December. So just the other half of the year. That's what I mean about being in a professional environment all the time.
Every other question, literally, is some version of, do you still keep in touch with all of your other
People
Brady
want to know
mates?
that.
Yeah.
I think people want to know if
There's
what
about
they
12 of
watched
them.
on TV
Sure.
was real. And I'm really, it doesn't happen very often. If you talk to 100 different shows that film for 3, 4, 5 years, and are they still seeing each other, getting along, hanging out, having dinner together? They'll say no. That is not the case with us.
It's very true.
For instance, I'm getting married in July this year.
Congratulations.
First invites went out to the Bradys, so and they're coming to Branson. So there you go.
Getting married in Branson.
I am.
All right, that's wonderful. And are the Bradys going to accept your invitation?
No,
Probably
but
not.
at least I invited them. That's what's important.
But you were the
here.
bigger man, at least.
I'm pretty sure Chris Knight's coming.
That's good. At least somebody's going to be there. What? I heard that. In terms of the rest of this week, I know you're busy, but I get asked all the time about the different stars we have on board, and I'll ask this. I'll put you on the spot because I think I already know your answer, and I want to put you up here. People say often that they love the fact that stars who do our theme cruises appear to be so approachable and kind. And I want to say that I've met you a couple times now on board, and you live up to all of that. And I want to thank you very much for being. Some people are cabin hiders, They come on board and they do their public appearance and then they're whisked and then they're hidden in a cabin and then they come to their next appearance and hide again. And you don't seem like that at all. And if you are like that, I now just outed you and you can't be like that. So you don't seem like that at all. And I think I speak on behalf of every single person here that enjoyed you in TV or enjoyed you in Branson or enjoyed your musical career or will enjoy you as the face of Me TV in saying very simply, thank you very much for being who you are.
Happy cruising. Rock and romance, people.
Rock and romance, my friends. That's our time with Barry Williams. Don't miss tomorrow with Mr. Christopher Cross. Have a great day. We'll see you out and about.